Hey everybody and welcome to the bullshit party. And it's Thursday again, which means we have a new podium vehicle to review. And before we start with that, just wanted to let you know that the bullshit party is now on Patreon. I have a lot of cool things in mind for the Patreon, so make sure you check it out. So if you want to support the channel or just want to go and have a look, the link to the Patreon page is going to be in the description box of this video. And with that done, cue the poorly done transition. Some things never change. But back to the podium vehicle, it's the Albany Franken Stange. And as you can see, it's very heavily inspired by Halloween, which coincidentally is a couple of days from now, or was a couple of days ago, or months ago, or will be in a couple of months from now, depending on when you see this video. There, we covered all our bases. But back to the Albany. If you think it looks familiar, it's because it's based on the Roosevelt, which is based on the real-world 1928 Cadillac 3. You know what? It's based on an old Cadillac. If you played the recently released Mafia remake, you know what I'm talking about. And as far as this video is concerned, I'm very happy to see that the interactivity here is, well, present somewhat. There's no hood, so I understand we can't open something that's not there. But I see a retracted roof, which would be amazing if we can retract it. But sadly, that's not gonna be the case. So let's collectively wipe our crocodile tears, go in the car, start it, and see what the engine sounds like. I believe the word I'm looking for is awesome. It sounds awesome. And as you could hear, it also has a truck's horn, so that's a plus, I guess. With that, it's time to test if this is a rear-wheel drive car, all-wheel drive. Who am I kidding? It's a hot rod, of course it's rear-wheel drive. And with that scientific explanation that'll make even Mark Rubber jealous done, it's time to go to Los Santos Customs and apparently crash into everything I see. But also customize it, upgrade the performance, and see what we have after that. And as we're taking our drive down to Los Santos Customs, I'm starting to wonder who this car was made for. Was it made for Halloween fans? Maybe. Was it made for hot rod enthusiasts? Maybe. Was it made for people who actually enjoy driving cars? No. Usually when I start these things, I'm very upbeat and very hopeful to what I'm getting. But this car drives like a tank. Even though, as you can hear, it sounds like a proper hot rod, it drives like a 1929. Well, actually that makes sense. You know what this car drives like? If you play the remake of Mafia or Mafia 2 that were set in the 1930s and 40s, the cars there drive exactly like this one. Turning? Yes. Acceleration? Yes. Brakes? Optional. Actually, scratch that last part. Apparently steering is optional as well. But in all seriousness, this car better transform into Megatron when we go into Los Santos Customs. Otherwise, I don't see myself recommending it to anyone. Unless I don't like him. Like you, Timmy. But back to the car, I'm sure the eagle-eyed viewers already saw the massive flaw with this car. And I'm not talking about the brakes or the acceleration or the horrible steering, I'm talking about something in the design of the car. We're gonna actually circle to that when we get out of Los Santos Customs with the fully upgraded Albany. And I take no responsibility for what's happening right now on screen, it's the car's fault. You can take my freedom, but you can never take my pride. Or was it the other way around?
What brings you in today?
And we're back in good old Los Santos Customs, where dreams come to die. I mean, great cars are made. And like with every visit here, we're gonna start with the mandatory performance upgrade, which is gonna give me a couple of seconds to talk about the car being in the sports classics category. I haven't looked at the list of the fastest car in that category, nor am I interested in, but based on the stock version of this car that I drove on the way to Los Santos Customs, I don't think it's cracking the top 15. And the first disappointing customization option that we have today is the hood. But why is it disappointing, bullshit? Looks good. I'll explain. I'm a big fan of the visible air intake valves. What I'm not a big fan of is static air intake valves. And we've had numerous cars since this one released, and I believe some before, that have intake valves that respond to the pressure you apply to the gas pedal. Basically, like a regular car. But apparently in 2015, when this car was released, Rockstar decided to disregard that detail and make its programmers and designers work on bobbleheads for the stupid interior. I mean, for the interior. No way I'm paying money for that, so let's move on to the next option, which is the liveries. And the liveries, just like the hood option, are very limited. Maybe they really should have cancelled a couple of bubbleheads and actually focused on the rest of the customization options for this one. When I say hot rod, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Burning rubber? A big engine with a preposterous fuel consumption? A bubblehead on the dashboard? And if you said bubblehead, I want you to close the video and never return to my channel. But still like it. But back to the, and I'm seriously using air quotes here, hot rod that we're dealing with. After setting the vehicle to its proper height, it's time to go to the wheel options and actually change them. Now, since we're dealing with what basically is a muscle car, we're gonna use muscle car wheels. And even before actually coming into Los Santos Customs, I had an idea of which wheels I wanted to use. But the dollar signs weren't available, so I went with the black top. And as far as the design of the tire, I really wanted to see what tire options we had for this one. I think it's gonna look cool with a yellow or of course it has only white. Nope, you may not take my money for that, and let's go to the window options. Now, I'm usually a big proponent of using a light smoke tint. But seeing how this car doesn't have a rear, well, anything, it sort of looks stupid and even more incomplete with the tint on. So, what? What did you expect? And with that embarrassing moment behind us, it's time to get to the main event, respraying the car. And I want to thank everybody who participated in this week's poll. You guys suggested the colors and then you voted on the colors you suggested. And as you see, Matte Midnight Blue is the definite winner this week with over half of the people voting for it. And Sandwich having only 22%. What? Nothing! So here it is, Midnight Blue. I have to say, not a bad option for this car. But don't worry, I'm gonna pretty it up with the secondary color. And still talking about color, next week we're gonna have classic colors on the poll. So if you have a classic color that you want to see in next week's poll, make sure you leave it as a comment in the comment section down below. If the color you want already exists, vote for it, and the top 5 colors with the most votes are gonna be chosen for the poll. As for the Franken stage, I do apologize to all my sighted viewers. And yes, I agree with you, not my best showing. But don't worry, it gets better, we haven't chosen the wheel color yet. And I promise you that I wanted to make the car look good. Which on second thought is probably something that I shouldn't say out loud. And with the mindset of how much worse can it get, I actually went to the tire design option and went for the custom tires. What have I done? And we're back outside and oh no! The game has glitched! This isn't my car, not with these colors. Again, I apologize. If you want to unsubscribe, I understand. But looks aside, let's go back to the things that are actually important about this vehicle. The way it drives. And as I promised, we're going back to what I told you before we went into Los Santos Customs. The car's biggest flaw. And for that we need to go to Transition Land and look at this. All I wanted was to go behind the building, through the alley, to the other side of the street. And if you're still having trouble with what I'm cryptically talking about, it's the white fenders in the back. I understand this isn't the only car with proportions that are gonna make Nicki Minaj jealous, but for some reason this one feels off. It almost feels like it gets stuck on everything. And to be completely honest, it totally diminishes the enjoyment of the vehicle for me. As far as the performance is concerned, there is a slight upgrade as opposed to when we went into Los Santos Customs, but it's nothing to write home about. Let's just say that this car is not gonna win any races anytime soon. The steering is still stiff, the braking is not there, and the acceleration is actually worse than before, I think. I'll explain. Because of the more power and the horrible traction the car has, more power equal to more wheel spin. More wheel spin, slower acceleration. I was really hyped for this car, I really liked how it looked, I love old classic American muscle. But for some reason, this one just doesn't do it for me. So to answer the question if this is worth it, I think I have a very short answer. If it's for me, I'm not gonna drive this car, nor am I gonna have it in my garage. But bullshit, you just said that you love... Yeah, I know what I said. But this disgusting purple interior is just an eyesore. And as far as I know, there is no way to change the interior color of this car. So, you're pretty much stuck with that. And if you're watching this video in the week it was released, then this is the podium vehicle for the week. And even though you can get the car for free, I don't know if you should get the car for free. I meant to do that. And with that, it's gonna be time to end the video. Thank you so much to everybody who watched, hopefully you liked the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, go to the Patreon page, check it out. As I said in the beginning, a lot of cool things are gonna be happening on that page pretty soon. And with all that said, I'll catch you guys in the next one.